So we're going to be using 5-inch round black balloons to make the base. So it's the standard base. So the first layer inflated to 4 inches or 3 strokes of the Latex hand pump. And we're just going to make duplets, round those off and then tie. So that's one duplet, and we want another duplet that's the same size as this one, and place the two together and just twist around. And then we're going to make another cluster of 4, about ½ inch smaller. So we need another 4 black balloons, just inflating these to 3½ inches or 2 strokes of the hand pump. And very quick to do. So just take one of the nozzles and pass that through the base and wrap around. So there's your very simple, straightforward base. And we've got a sand weight. I've got a video on how to make sand weights up to 1 kilo in weight. So this one's the smallish one. So just pull the, keep hold of the neck and nozzle as you pull it through the centre of the base. Pull it through and then just wrap that around. It's easier if you do this on a table rather than trying to sort of wave it around in the air. There you go, that's all connected. Okay, so there's your weighted base. This is a black, onyx black 260. We're inflating to a tail of a couple of fingers and then just letting quite a bit of air out because I can feel my balloon here is more inflated here than the other end, which is another thing you tend to get when using the legenda. So give everything a squeeze. And then you want to very roughly split this in half. Okay, give that a twist. And then I'm just passing that split in between those 2 balloons, those 2 clusters in the base, and then just swapping them over. At this point, I'm just going to roll the knot slightly. So provided you've not pulled that knot too tightly, you should be able to just roll that knot along and it will give you a little more bit of balloon there. And then I'm just going to spiral, candy cane these 2 balloons together until I get to about here. I'm going to give that one a bit of a squeeze just to make it a little bit longer. And then take your knot and nozzle and just bend that round and wrap it around. Okay? And then pass that knot and nozzle through the centre. And then just take hold of the tip here on this one and do the same thing. So you're just wrapping those around. Okay? So you've got 2 loops. We're going to take one of these vampire heads. Inflate, and then I like to downsize these until the head is kind of nice and round, and then twist, and then just wrap that into the neck there. Okay. And then we're taking a white 260, so let that down a little bit to about a 2-3 finger tail, and again just let some of the air out here because it's a bit more inflated there. Tie that off, give it a bit of a squeeze and stretch, and then again roughly split that in half. We're doing the same thing, passing this under a couple of the balloons on the top layer, swapping them over. Again, I'm just going to stretch that neck, just give myself a bit more room there, and spiral those around until you get to about this point. And then you can just wrap that one over again, pass the knot and nozzle through, and do the same thing, just take hold of the tip, wrap that around, and if you can, pass it through. That's just going to help secure that. So you've got the little shoulders there, and then I've got one of these skull prints. So these are the Latex Halloween faces. So again, I like these to be round. And then again, I'm just going to wrap that into the shoulders there. So again, 3/4 finger tail. And splitting that roughly in half. You'll probably guess what we're doing. We're going to do something slightly different with this. So I've got a little bit of an oddment, a bit of 260 oddment just left over. Just tying a knot and then tying a second knot at the same spot. And then I'm just going to trim off the 260 either side of that knot. So these are called raisins. And we're just going to put that into that pumpkin head. Okay, inflate. So just again downsize. So I want the pumpkin head to be soft enough so that I can easily pinch some of the latex here. So that will kind of guide you as to the sort of size that you need. And then I'm going to take a 160 and cut off about 2-3 inches maybe off the front. I will see if I can get the cut end off my, no, it's just going to be too tricky to get the cut end off onto the legenda. So I'm using the pocket pump, and this is pretty much the only time I use the pocket pump, when I've actually cut the nozzle off. Okay, so, and we're going to make 3 loops of 2 to 3 fingers. They don't have to be all the same size. Oops, not coming done, don't worry. We twist, and to stop that happening, just take hold of that tail, wrap it round, and that's going to help secure everything. Make the 3rd loop. So just take the tip end and just snap the tip end a little bit, so you're kind of relaxing the latex a little bit, and then put a twist in the balloon here, and if you press down here, that will give you a little poodle turn. So we can now take our orange balloon and grab hold of the raisins somewhere at the top end, give it a twist, and what you can do, you can then wrap these leaves directly around that raisin. And just connect the leaves. Okay, so we've got a little pumpkin head, which we can now attach to our display. Just taking a red 160, softening it, and then I'm just going to make a little 1 or 2 finger bubble, and then another loop of 2 or 3 fingers, 3 fingers maybe, and then make another loop to match this one, about 3 fingers. Okay, and then we can cut this off here. And then tie. Okay, now if you want, what I would suggest is actually just taking that little end through, just to secure those loops a little bit. Now if you aren't comfortable making pinch twists, what you can do is just cut off the little nozzle here just to tidy it up. But what I'm going to do is make a pinch twist here just by grabbing hold of that knot and nozzle, pulling up that little bubble and twisting round. Okay. And that's just made a little bow for our vampire. Pull this into the neck with that little end that we've hung on to and just wrap it in. Okay. So what you probably will want to do is to make this sit comfortably is just take the two black loops and just pull them back slightly, okay, and then that's going to make that sit nicely at the front. Next we can take a black 160. We're not going to use all of this, so we don't need to inflate it all. And then wrap the end into the shoulders here. This is easier to do when it's sitting on a table. And I just dislodged my bow. I'll put my bow back. Okay, so we're just going to give our vampire a little cowl, you know, the cowl of his, or the collar, or the collar of his cape. So at this stage, all we need to do is just a loose loop, but you want that bubble to be quite soft. So we're just going to loosely loop that around and then just wrap it into the back here. And then we can cut off the end here. And let that down, and tie a knot, and just wrap the ends around. And then we just want to get hold of this either side and just massage either side, and that will just square off that balloon. I've got a white 160 here. Again, we're not going to use all of it, so just a small bubble here, and then a little loop, and then just take hold of that knot and nozzle, pull the bubble up and pinch twist, and then pass that knot and nozzle through the centre. Okay, give your balloon a little bit of a squeeze, and then decide how long you want the arms of your skeleton to be. So I'm going about that sort of length. So I'm roughly going to double that up, and then make another 1 to 2 finger bubble. Just fold the balloons in half and pinch twist that, and then make a small loop that approximately matches this one. Wrap that around. You can cut off the end. And just tie that in a knot, and then trim off the messy bit at the end. And then split the arms half. You might want to sort of give a bit of shaping. And then what I like to do is pass these through the body. And then just pull them up into the neck. And I do that this way because if you pull the arms into the neck, it kind of throws the shoulders out and the head out. So actually much better if you can go through the centre of the body. And I'm just using a balloon sticky dot just on the underside of the spider's body. You can just stick the spider on, and then just arrange your characters